And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. Trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, traders, friends, family, futures traders, Forex traders, everybody. It's time for the recap. Tuesday, February the 15th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. We hope that you had a successful trading day. Seeing some comments here. At least maybe one or two had some decent trading days. Always a good to see. As far as the trading day today, I think there were a lot of bigger expectations for opportunities today. I found the markets to be, somewhat range bound, which isn't a bad thing. There's still opportunity in range bound sessions, and found a couple of good spots, and hopefully you did too. The news du jour seems to be about the cooling of tensions in Russia and Ukraine. A lot of folks kind of speculating whether or not this is actually going to lighten up. Russia says it's begun to pull troops back from the Ukraine border. NATO is, of course, urging caution. So the markets have had a moment to breathe today. If you're building a house, the lumber prices are adding approximately $19,000 to the cost of that new home. Some big money. Mostly the news was really about Ukraine. Also, a lot of talk about the PPI numbers that came out this morning. Apparently, no letting up of inflation. That's not good news. Kramer today is saying that he believes that the height of inflation is upon us, and I hope that he's right. I hope that he's correct about that. Right. As far as the markets are concerned, after the big news overnight ranges, our markets seem to be waiting for more information. They took a breather today, as Dan used to call them. They were hangover days. Crude oil after a big move to the downside, and after a good opening range, just found after a good opening drive, I should say, found balance. E-mini S&P and NASDAQ, both are heroes, put up some pretty small ranges today, kind of right in Friday's repair area. We were talking about that on the forecast yesterday and this morning, that was a distinct possibility. Gold put together a normal trading day. You know what a normal trading day is? I wouldn't have thought it, but it did end up putting up a normal trading day. Again, a bit of a hangover day. A normal trading day is where that first hour of trade, that initial balance, remains the extremes all day long. We don't see those that often, particularly in a tending to be a volatile market like gold. The euro, I don't even know what to say about it. We'll take a look at it. The 10-year still somewhat range-bound, just kind of dragging along the bottom of that now 4-day range and continuing to test close to that weekly kickoff low. The natural gas, many tests of weekly kickoff high, which has turned into a degree of support and ended up closing above that level. So we're going to have to see what happens tomorrow. As always, going to say good morning or good afternoon to everyone. I think it's the forecast. It's the recap. Dan talking about an excellent trading day, 18 winners, 1 loss. loves opportunity. Ed asking, wasn't a very convictional trading day in his opinion. I would agree with that in many of these markets. Took the day off once lunch came, asking if we can show us opportunities we might have missed. And I think Dan has kind of a good thing that he was looking at today. He played the edges of ranges with 15-minute charts. Okay, good. Range-bound days, we play the edges of those ranges. And he said the S&P and the NASDAQ barely traded at all under VWAP. He was looking, I think, more importantly, and good afternoon, Ricardo, more importantly, at the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. I think Dan caught something that worked really well for him today, thinking that there was probably some divergences in the RSI. We're putting in highs, lower RSI, that's a divergence. It's an indication of a pending change in momentum. Good afternoon, Vince. Yeah, that crazy last final 30 minutes was pretty crazy, wasn't it? You caught a nice short there before that pop, looking to think about taking that long. I didn't really expect that to happen, but we did talk today about the fact that if we were going to extend the range at all in either direction for the rest of the day today, I was looking for it to happen to the upside, which did happen, but pretty wild last half an hour there. Galen, good afternoon. I've not in a position in the last 15 minutes. I'm out. Norman, good afternoon. Former Vice President Joe Biden's son. We haven't seen you for a while. Thought maybe you were out getting into trouble or something. Hello, all. Hope you stayed defensive and get greedy in any direction. That would have certainly been a problem for us today. Spencer, hope everybody had a good, at least a safe day. Galen, I got patient. Did $5,000 on the last day, on the last half day trend. Wow. Nice job, Galen. Nicholas, good afternoon, Bill, Frederico, Dr. VJ, Jeff Martin, Scott Matheson, hello to you too, and Frederico. I used to use money flow index, that is RSI, that contains volume also in the calculation, but not using it anymore. Another fun fact, S&P could never get below the 38.2 fib retracement of the overnight high and low range. You found the secret for today, Dan. It sounds like you had a really good day, and we're very happy about that. Alessandro, good to see you. All right. Afternoon, Scott saw, and he conquered. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the charts, and we'll have a look-see. I'm going to start with the daily and crude today. Sorry, I think I had my mic off there. So we were looking at this morning. We know it's in rollover. We going to be looking probably Thursday morning or Friday morning at volume being greater in the April contract. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that on Thursday or Friday morning on the forecast. Still the same structure. We haven't changed that upside structure. You got you now, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you, Frederico and Spencer. No change in market state here. This pullback didn't change the fact that the market still looks like it is attempting to go higher. How good of a job is in question, of course. We lost 19,000 in open interest yesterday. We're going to have to see what happens today. If we lost open interest today, I'm going to go with the market is just adjusting inventory, and the movement to the upside is more likely to continue. But we'll have to see about that again tomorrow morning on the forecast. You got the API this afternoon at 3:30, EIA tomorrow, so that'll be some good information for us. We were looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, settlement was all the way up here. We knew we had a lot of overnight shorts in this market. So what we were looking for on the open was really, are we going to see regular trading hour US-based traders getting into this market in either direction? We had a pretty decent opening range opportunity this morning, albeit it was kind of an expensive one. So we came back to it in the forecast this morning, and the market had come back inside the opening range after breaking out the low end of the opening range. Never took out the high of the opening range, gave us a really cheap opportunity. And that cheap opportunity ended up being worth, let's call it 92.80 to 90.80, 200 points in the first hour. After that happened, we basically started looking at short time frame levels with which to find opportunities. Value low from Friday. We just basically kind of repaired the rest of Friday's profile, put in the low, and then we just kind of became range bound after that. Take a look at the E-mini S&P and the NASDAQ. Similar situations, of course. We ended up overnight having one of the weights off of our shoulders. Focus is, now going to be, of course, making sure that Russia doesn't do anything nefarious. And, they say they're going to pull their troops off. Hopefully they continue to do that. That's going to allow us to focus more on our problems, mainly the economy. We added open interest on Thursday. On Friday, we added open interest. On Monday, we felt like we had some we felt like we had some traders trapped short here. And of course, the overnight move was probably and was the biggest part of this. We got the news, lots of shorts in this market. We got the news last night. What time was that? Right on the European market opening, 2:00 Central Time. The market pushes higher, and that was really the bigger opportunity for us. The rest of the day, we kind of spent range bound. Now, yesterday we talked about, excuse me. I don't know where that came from. Little sneeze there. Yesterday we talked about the idea that if we got into this area, we might fall into some sort of repair. Well, yet last night we fell into this area, and we spent all day kind of repairing the hole in this profile from Friday. Not a lot of big movement, not a lot of conviction, not a lot of big directional opportunities, but we rotated high. We rotated high to low to high to low to high to low and back to high several times today. It was not that easy to do. I give Dan lots of props for being successful today, and I had some good trades. I had a couple of bad trades, and ended the day in good shape. Hopefully all of you did. But this was a hangover day. We're going to have to see how things, of course, play out tomorrow. It kind of goes without saying. Same sitch, different market. Our other hero, the NASDAQ, trapped shorts. Okay, we added 3,200 on Monday, added open interest on Friday. So we saw that we had some sellers coming into this market, and same sitch. The biggest move happened in the overnight. We basically spent the better part of today, if not all of today, in repair of Friday's profile. hangover day. We got a little nice push to the upside there at the end of the day. Looks like we've set a little bit perhaps of a late spike to the upside in the NASDAQ. We'll be checking that out tomorrow. Gold. So we started to build new business these last few days, increasing open interest and then decent volume. I don't think we've scared all of them out here just yet. I think that they're still waiting for new information. We got some longs here, 6 days of open interest. A lot of those longs are still in the money. Last night we tested up to weekly kickoff high. Question here on that. That's that 15% line on the NQ is 15% off the high. That's a 15% correction. If you notice, Nicholas, on the S&P, we're closer to the 10% correction. It just gives me some reference to know how far we are off the highs. Michael pointing out there's a little bit of a double top we've got here going in gold. So here's what happened in the 30-minute. More the same, opposite direction, repair from Friday. The bigger move occurring in the overnight up against weekly kickoff high. That weekly kickoff high largely based on that swing high that Michael is noticing is putting up a double top. So here we are, another resting day. You're welcome, Nicholas. The euro, I didn't even know what to say about this. We're still just, mired in this prior muck. We're still in it. There was a kind of an aberration. Something happened here where the market opened with a gap. We didn't close the gap. We really just dove and fell back out of range. Never really even touched value from yesterday. And then we just ranged all day. I don't even know what to say about the euro today. It just was a kind of a dead stick, if you will. And to the 10-year. Okay, testing weekly kickoff low, really dragging along it. I think the 30-minute really tells the story here. That's not the 10-year. This is the 10-year. So we got 3 days in range, fourth day in range, out of balance, out of value from those 3 days. So if we're going to be looking at value as to leading price, we may see another opportunity to test below this weekly kickoff low at some point here this week. But again, another kind of hangover day, narrow range, and, just some smaller opportunities, but opportunities nonetheless. One thing I wanted to kind of talk about was we talked about this on the open here and the recap, but I didn't go into it here. The initial balance is the first hour of regular trading hour trade or extended trading hour trade if you're going to be trading the extended trading hours. But you can see here that this first bar put in the low of the session, even basically with the overnight low. Then we put in the high here in the next 30-minute bar. So the range for the first hour of trade enveloped the trade for the rest of the session. These are rare days. This is a very balanced day. This is a day that there's not a lot of conviction, or a day, sometimes a day before an important economic release will come up with a normal trading day. And it's kind of a misnomer to call it that because we don't see normal trading days that often, especially in a volatile market such as gold. I thought it would be interesting just to kind of point that out. Now to the nat gas. This basically almost looks like it did this morning. Yeah, a continuation to the upside, opposite what gold did. I find that kind of interesting. Here's the 30, opposite of what crude did, I should say. Let's get the 30. So here's the high. Here's where we opened. Here's where we closed. No wonder it looks a lot like it did this morning. We opened, we came down, retested weekly kickoff high, which resistance might become support. Really kind of magnetic to it. It wasn't really useful for opportunities for trades today, but we did end up closing above it, and it looks like we are, perhaps holding a late spike here. Not really, because it's still part of the range, but depends. Nat gas about to do a Bitcoin again. Yeah, well, it might, especially if things start happening overseas. All right. So, all right. So, I feel like it's been a long week already. It's only Tuesday. Tomorrow, economic numbers. We know we have the FOMC meeting minutes coming out. We have retail sales, import-export prices, industrial production, business inventories, housing market index, EIA petroleum status report, and the FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow. We still got a lot of economic information coming out this week, so we're going to be prepared. We're going to trade what we see. We're going to make sure we are protecting ourselves by always wearing a stop. What happened on this day in history? In 1965, Canada adopts the maple leaf flag, kind of apropos for what's going on in Canada. 1998, Dale Earnhardt Sr. wins his first Daytona 500. On this day in 1903, a toy store owner placed two stuffed bears in his shop window, advertising them as teddy bears. They asked Theodore Roosevelt for his permission to use his nickname, and he agreed. So 1903 is the birth of the teddy bear. In 1950, on this date, Disney's Cinderella opens in theaters. I like that movie. This day in music, 1962, Ray Charles recorded I Can't Stop Loving You. Nat King Cole dies today in 1965 of lung cancer. Melissa Manchester, born this day in 1952. 1969, Sly and the Family Stone started a 4-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Everyday People. 1975, Linda Ronstadt, I love Linda Ronstadt, was number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with You're No Good, which was also made popular again by Van Halen. Yeah. Um, 1979, Saturday Night Fever at the 21st Grammy Awards. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack won Album of the Year, and the Bee Gees were named Best Pop Group. Best Arrangement for Voices for Staying Alive. Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are won Record and Song of the Year. And Donna Summer's Last Dance won 2 Grammys for Best Female R&B Vocal and Best R&B Song. Interesting. I always enjoy doing that. All right. What else we got going on here? You're welcome. The Death Cross video today. Yeah, I hope it's like the last one, right? Well, it hasn't happened yet. Can we trade in the combine through those events? If you're in step 1, for sure. Yes, and the rest of them you can. Unless you're trading crude oil, you're going to need to be flat for the petroleum status report at 9:30. Former Dad said Ukraine is just a distraction from all the bad economic and political news here in the United States. Besides, Burisma still owes me. So there will be no war, of course. Ed, as the market turns, it's a never-ending show with never-ending opportunities. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Awesome. All right. Get some rest. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Keep praying for peace. See you tomorrow morning on the market forecast, 7:45. Blessings to you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.